Let's talk about a flat 7 chord. We've talked about diatonic chords, and we've talked about dominant chords that can show up that are outside the key. And we've been working with the key of G. So when a flat 7 chord shows up, that would be F in this case, the F natural. That does not belong to the key of G because G has an F sharp. Right? So the G scale has an F sharp. So when we see an F natural, that tells us that, again, all the rules are off when it comes to playing our G scale over diatonic chords. This chord is not diatonic, does not belong. Well, this chord is not a dominant chord. Remember, a dominant chord would have the flat 7 for that particular chord. So for our F, if you were to flat the 7 for F, then the F the flat 7 for an F chord would be an E flat. So that would not belong in the key of G. It's just not going to work. So we have a little bit different set of rules that we need to apply to this chord. Really, we're just going to take a couple of things away that are not going to be available to us. Remember, the first step is always just to assume that you can play the arpeggio, because that's true. The answer is always in the chord. I'm in the key of G, and it goes to F. I can always play the chord itself. Just make the chord, which is, making an F chord can be hard enough, right? But if we can do that, play any of the notes that make up that chord, and we're going to be good. Now, for dominant chords, you can go from there and add the flat 7. We can't do that in this case because, as I said, it's not going to work. And in case you're looking for songs that do this, one that comes to mind is Amy by Pure Prairie League, where it goes from a G, or at least the 1, to the flat 7. Bluegrass players will know tunes like Salt Creek, which will go to the F chord. And so we cannot add the flat 7, but what we can do is the major pentatonic. So we can go, remember the pentatonic is going to be 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's the way we number them, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So I'm going from G to F. I just played the octave F there. Okay, so I can do that. And 99% of the time, if you see a case where you can play the major pentatonic, you also can play the major blues, which is built on the major pentatonic. So I could play F, add the flat 3. Right? So I'm in G. G goes to F. I'm at the point where I'm playing my major blues and can get some pretty interesting things out of that. Another thing you can do, and remember this chord is sort of an oddball for to deal with. It's so different from the dominant chord. But when we're in the key of G, we can play our G minor pentatonic, right? Remember earlier we worked with it in this octave. Okay, now if it's down here, and it's 1 flat 3 4. 5 flat 7, right? So we're in the key of G. Well, it just so happens that in our G minor pentatonic we have an F note. So if I see an F note, that gives me a clue that when the F chord happens, that note's going to work, right? So I can play parts of it. The only thing that would be a little funky would be the B flat. And it would be okay, you just wouldn't want to target it or kind of land on it or anything. Just kind of use it to play up and down with your minor pentatonic. Same way that you could play the major blues when you see major pentatonic. Any places you can use your minor pentatonic, you can also use the minor blues that goes with it. So we have, there's our minor pentatonic for G. We can add that sharp 4. Okay, so I'm in G, goes to F, right? So I can play the G minor pentatonic over that, the G minor pentatonic blues scale over that. Okay, and your best bet still is to stay with the chord itself. Any of these ideas will still work. But probably the safest, most musical thing you do is, again, to start with the arpeggio, go to the minor pentatonic. And my favorite thing to do is over that particular chord is to play the major blues. Okay. All right, we're going to take a tune called Salt Creek, and this tune has the flat 7 chord in it. Normally it would be in the key of A, and guitar players normally will keep on 2nd fret and play it out of G. We'll just, for our purposes here, just to illustrate what's happening with the flat 7 chord F in this case, we're going to play it in open G. And so I will be playing, when it comes to that F chord, I will be playing the arpeggio or the major pentatonic, major blues, G minor pentatonic or G minor blues. At any given time I might choose whichever one I want. So we're going to play the tune one time through, and it'll go to that F chord a lot, so you'll kind of see what's going on here. All right?